like there's a bigger story that is going on when we see some of these things happening in the workforce and society. So I'm going to talk about two of them if you tune in here for a minute. One of them is, John Deere and the workers are in a pinch, and they're at a point where there's no right or wrong, and I'll talk more about that. And then the second thought is, I own a company that does outplacement services, and if you're not familiar with that, it's a type of service that when people get laid off, we help them get back to work faster, help them with their resume and their LinkedIn profile and interview coaching, help them find jobs, that whole process. So we usually we usually get the first signs that an economic downturn's coming because our phone starts ringing. And I think it's another thing you might not be aware of, I think it's the warn notices that if you're going to lay off more than 50 people or something, I don't know the exact data. But they got to file something with the state, I believe, or the federal government to give notice about a massive layoff. So we're usually on the forefront of that, and we get in a lot of conversations about, well, why is the layoff happening? And a lot of times you see the people that have the higher salaries are not like the key like stakeholder type of people, not the not the CFO type of high salaries, but the people in the company that were deemed just they were getting paid too much for that point in time during the downturn. Often it's the people who were most recently hired, and I know that sucks to hear, but that happens pretty often. And the people who are just of lower value or a problem. And I want to focus on the one point of a lot of the people that have the higher salaries tend to go first, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about. And right now, there's a lot of job hopping going around. People are getting an extra 5-10 grand here and there, and the market's really hot. I've seen this in 2000, 2001. I've seen this in 2007, 2008, and it never ends well. And then those people end up taking a hit on their career, or they're out of work for a while, and the amount of time you spend unemployed, you end up losing all that extra money you made, when you took that jump for an extra 5 or 10. So what I'm seeing here is with Deere, I saw something down here I just heard this on the radio, and that's why I jumped on this. But it said that they were offered $8,500 signing bonus right here, a 6-year contract with an $8,500 signing bonus, and 3 additional lump sum payouts, each equal to 3% of their annual pay. And it also comes with an immediate 10% raise and 2 other 5% raises later in a 6-year contract. So you figure the 5% are going to be compounded, so it's more than 20% raise over 6 years, which is about 3%, 3.5% or something if you analyze that out. It's not really atypical. $8,500 cash right now is kind of nice, and then they got the extra bonus bump there. It doesn't seem like an unreasonable deal. The problem is, for John Deere, things are getting way too expensive across the board. I like tractors. John Deere is like it's the quote unquote Cadillac of tractors, right? But you buy green, you bleed green. They cost a hell of a lot of money, and this kind of stuff's just going to drive it up even more, and it's going to make you want to go look at a Kubota, where you can get a highly reliable tractor for less money. And I see where that could start to put a hurt on the long term. I mean, John Deere's got the big ag business, but on that B2C retail side, as those prices creep up, that's going to hurt people. So that's one concern. But on the flip side of it, if you're a worker, man, everything's so expensive right now. I often talk about my father's food bills up 30%. I tried to fill up my diesel truck this morning, and I got to like 26 gallons, and it hit the credit card stop. I can't even get close to, a full tank of diesel now for $75 or $100. Energy costs are going up. Propane's going up. Heating oil's going up. If you're a worker, I understand you probably want more money right now, especially if you're on the blue collar side of jobs. So if you're on the higher end of white collar office jobs, I mean, things probably aren't that bad. But, if you're out on a shop floor somewhere, you can see where, this extra money's going to help. No win for either side right now. But I could see where if companies start doing this, where they keep bumping these salaries up more and more and more, and there are people out there talking about there will be a series, a time period of hyper deflation. Once we get caught up on supply chain, we're gonna fill all that backlog. Demand's gonna drop. There might be some deflation that happens there. Then you're going to be stuck with a whole bunch of workers that are extremely expensive, and that's where I can see layoffs start getting triggered. Maybe it won't happen at Deere, but the people I'm talking to that are owning businesses, they're aware of this, and they're trying to proceed with caution. Is this a 12-month blip, or is this the new world? And I'm just saying, if you're hopping jobs right now, be careful on what you do. It might be enticing to go make a few bucks more, but if you're the first person to get laid off when the downturn happens, and we don't know when that's going to happen, but it always happens, just keep that part in mind. Always be thinking about 5 years down the road when it comes to your career. Short-term thinking in careers never works out for anybody. But I'm looking at, when you're watching this is only going to accelerate inflation, right? Things got more expensive. We got a labor shortage. And then that's making wages go up, which is going to make prices go up even more. It's going to, we're going to get caught in a cycle here where everything's just going to keep getting more expensive, but the quality of life's not getting any better. The numbers on your paycheck and the numbers on the stuff you buy is just changing. But your quality of life's not going to change. But I get it. Deere's trying to keep costs down, and the workers are like, shit, my food bill's up 30% right now. Gas and diesel's going through the roof. Propane's, like everything you do right now is more expensive. So you need more money. I get it. But it's like, is it short term is the question. But if you're stuck with a bunch of high payrolls and there's an economic downturn, like I said, the conversations we hear on the outplacement side of things, no one's hanging on to the overly expensive, middle of the line productive workers when a downturn happens. I've seen that 2 times in my life. You would have seen it during COVID, but, with the PPP loans, a lot of companies, just about every company in America probably got one, you had to keep the workers on. So you didn't see a lot of layoffs last year. You saw some, obviously. But you couldn't lay the people off and then get the PPP loan forgiven. So you didn't see that last year, but that's all coming to an end now. That's one of the things, when you're making moves right now, you got to look at the company. What's their stability? Where am I going? How valuable is my position? If you're someone that they can live without and you're about to make a big salary jump, you got to think about that. So I'm just more worried about is, we're going to get in this cycle of items go up, wages go up, driving items to go up, and then we just get in this hyperinflation bubble, which is good for nobody. Because when those things pop, it's pretty goddamn ugly, and I don't want to do that. In 20 years, I've been through 3 decent-sized recessions. It'd be nice to go for a little while and not have to deal with another one, but just some stuff that I don't always hear people talking about. Again, if you know John Deere stuff, it's already expensive as it is. This is obviously going to drive up cost. The one thing that we don't want here is John Deere considers using overseas plants and U.S. strike breakers. I mean, U.S. strike breakers, nothing big there. When my father worked in a steel factory, they quote unquote, I think they called them scabs, right? They found a way to keep business moving. The issue is, are you going to see more and more stuff just go overseas because of this? But again, I'm sitting there, it's like, can you blame the workers? Inflation's like crazy right now. You don't really see you see people talking about it, but maybe not as much as they should. When our government gets on TV, they're saying it's transitory. I'm hoping that deflation they're talking about is coming. But it's not looking that way right now. And then we got a worker shortage that's kind of making things even worse right now. I'm going to do another episode here in a minute, but I had a friend that was trying to go to CVS last night to get some COVID tests because they had some family members sick, and he went to 3 different CVSs and they were all closed because of worker shortages. And it's like, this is where I've talked about the last couple months about how reliant we are on our neighbor going to work in the morning. And the economy is going to, society will fall apart if we don't. When people stop picking up our trash and stop going to work at the water plants and stop delivering our food and stop working at CVS so you can't get COVID tests or get your prescription filled, we are going to have significant issues. But I'm going to do another episode on that, so stay tuned. But, we don't want more stuff going overseas. We keep talking like we want that manufacturing renaissance again. We want to build and manufacture here. We want to keep the middle class jobs here for our own security as we see what's going on with the ports and international supply chain. The problem is every time we get to this point, it's like more technology wipes out jobs and then more stuff goes overseas. And here's the thing. There's a hell of a lot of countries over there that would love to have a John Deere plant. It would, for many areas probably lift them out of economic poverty for John Deere to come up and set up 3 or 4 plants in the area. And the last thing we want we don't want that to happen, right? But there's got to be some middle ground here where the workers can get the wages they need to deal with this inflation right now, and then also keep John Deere from moving plants overseas or pushing prices up so much that it's going to hurt everybody. Anyways, got any thoughts? Drop a comment below. Stay tuned for my CVS one. Just another day in crazy inflation and worker shortage, right? Till then, I'm going to catch you on the next one.